What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Garland Kwek. Thanks for joining me today. And in today's video, I want to talk about this topic of common questions that we get as photographers. I thought it'd be a good idea to go through them, give you my personal answers to each of them, and also give you a reason why you should have a good answer for them yourself. All right, so first question that pretty much every photographer gets whenever you introduce yourself is, what kind of camera do you use? This answer is going to vary from photographer to photographer. It all depends on what kind of system you use. Personally, I use a Fuji system. I use the XT line of cameras. I've been shooting on the XT line of cameras for years. I have many of the Fuji lenses, and I shoot on Fuji because I really like the experience that it gives me as I'm doing photography. All the buttons and dials and very physical and analog experience really adds to the whole process of taking photos. So that's my personal answer for the question. Now, the reason why I think you should have sort of a good response to this question is that when people ask, they want to know about the system you're using. And the more knowledge you can share, the more you can kind of impart something of value to another person. Another reason to have a good answer to this question is because it kind of reinforces why you do photography with that system. At least for me, I love talking about Fuji. I love talking about the camera and the experience of taking photos on Fuji. And lastly, it does a good talking point of commonality for some people because they might shoot on the same system. So I think it's just good to have an answer for this that kind of covers a lot of different aspects, maybe the technical aspects, but also the non-technical aspects of it, so that you can really relate to the person who is asking you the question. Question number two, a very common one that I get right up there with what kind of camera do you use, is why did you get started in photography, or how did you get started in photography? I started it as a hobby. I was working a regular 9-to-5 type of job in a totally different industry, and I just wanted to find a hobby to do something beyond work, and also to kind of allow my creative side to explore things. So it really was like a creative outlet for me. Over time, I got better at it. People started asking me for paid gigs and to shoot for them, and so I slowly evolved it into from a hobby to a business. And now I do it full time. So that's kind of the short story of how I got started. And the reason why you should probably have a good answer for this is because it really tells a lot about yourself as a person, but also as a photographer. People love to hear about people's passions and why you're passionate about something. And I think this is a great opportunity to share that passion, while at the same time also giving you an insight to that other person about your process, because how people get started in photography is very different. Some people start just doing like food photography, and because they like going to restaurants and just kind of documenting their food, and it turned into a business for them eventually. And so that process is much different than someone like me, who has turned my photography business more focused on like people and portraits. And so I enjoy talking and working with clients and people, couples, which again will also influence the way you shoot and the kind of shoots you do, and the skill set that you need to develop for those types of shoots. I think it's great to have a good answer, to go sort of a go-to answer for this that really kind of tells your story. So question number three is kind of related to the second question, but it's a little bit more specific. A very common question that I get is, what do you shoot? For this, my personal response is kind of twofold. I tell people who ask this question, I shoot a lot of different things to begin with. So I like to kind of categorize it. I do one for client work, so people who pay me for shoots. And then second category is what I like to shoot just for myself and for fun. So in that first category of client work, my answer is usually, I shoot a lot of weddings, couples, engagements, proposals, things like that, like very people-oriented types of shoots, as well as events throughout the city, like live events, galleries, showings, things like that. That's kind of my default answer for that question in some cases. And then I like to also expand upon it and sometimes tell a little bit more about myself by offering that I also like to shoot landscape, travel, street photography as well, which I do shoot a lot of. And that is more for my personal projects and personal work. I don't really get paid for that type of work, but I still like to shoot it. And so that answer kind of like shows that I've covered a wide range of gigs, I've covered a wide range of subjects, and that I'm open-minded to shoot anything. At least, and that's the type of photographer that I am. Some people might be a little bit more niche or focused, which is great. And if that's that type of photographer that you are, then yeah, you definitely want to have an answer that highlights that. But yeah, again, I think it's important to have a good answer for this question. You could split it up or kind of categorize it like I did, or you can just have one, focused answer like, hey, what do you shoot? I shoot cars, I shoot auto. But of course you want to explain, why you shoot it, how you got into it, and what you like about it. Because that's what people asking that question really are trying to get at. They want to understand your mind and what makes you tick. And of course, what you shoot is a reflection of that. So question number 4 that I often get is your work anywhere, or do you have a website? Do you post your stuff anywhere? My answer is that I have a website that I direct people to. That is my portfolio and my showcasing of my work. And I also add on that I have Instagram and other social media platforms, but I don't use them as much because I'm just not that active on posting that kind of content. I would like to be more active on it, and that's something I'm working on. And this is part of my answer. I do say this, that I want to have a better presence on Instagram, for example, and to post more of my work there. But that is a work in progress for me. I do direct most people to my website, which looks nice and professional and has my work and a wide range of all the type of different shoots that I've done. And yeah, I just let people browse it. Most people asking this question, they just really want to see your work and maybe give you a follow. So you should definitely have an answer for this to direct people to where you want them to see your work. Maybe you don't have a website yet. It's a good idea to start one. I would definitely recommend starting one and having one, an online presence, so that people who are interested in your work and want to hire you can have something to kind of reference. The 5th question is, how much time do you spend editing or working on a computer versus shooting, or some variation of that? I like to kind of frame it in the sense that for every hour of shooting that photographers do, there's usually an X number of hours of editing associated with that. So that kind of gives an insight into how much work goes into photography, and that there's a lot of behind the scenes work that's done that people don't see. And I think it also just gives an insight to the person asking a question of how your schedule works out. How many hours are you spending per week on this business or on this craft? So breaking it down a little bit, I think is helpful rather than just giving like a flat answer of, oh, I work 20 hours a week or something. I like to add as much insight as possible. I will say that some people who are asking may be, again, clients, potential clients that want to know, how much effort you're putting in, or just better understand your process. What is the turnaround time? What is the expected delivery date? Having an answer for that will answer a lot of things for that potential client and give them a good idea of how quick you work or how meticulously you work. I think it's good to kind of formulate a good answer for this question, give a little bit more detail if you can. There you have it, guys. Just 5 quick questions that I get often. I thought it'd be helpful to kind of go over them, give my answers to them, just as examples, just something for you guys to think about as photographers, or maybe people interested in photography. Think of your own questions. Put as much of your personality into them as you can. Try to tell a story with them. And at the end of the day, people asking these questions are really just trying to connect with you. So you want to make that connection as strong as possible. And of course, you want to keep an eye out for potential clients. And so having good answers for these questions will definitely help with that. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you liked it, please thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.